Good morning. I hope everyone is doing well. I just wanted to send a little video. I'll do these periodically, at least once a week, just kind of responding to the work that you guys are doing. So today I wanted to just kind of touch base with The Tempest. I just finished grading all of the reading quizzes over Act 1, and you guys did great. That quiz was really drawing your attention to the dynamics of Prospero's relationship with Ariel and Caliban. And as many of you guys noted in your responses, those relationships are rather complex and they're also quite different. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone kind of caught why those differences occurred in the way that Prospero treated each of his servants or slaves. So as you all pointed out, when Prospero got to the island, he freed Ariel. And so Ariel feels like she owes a kind of debt to Prospero. And Prospero also, as you all noted, kind of holds that over her a little bit and manipulates her with that debt. So, you could imagine, what would Prospero's character have been like? How would we evaluate him if he had freed Ariel and just let her go? But instead, he basically enslaves her and uses that his role kind of as her hero to convince her to serve him. So she does tend to serve him with a lot of deference, maybe even respect. I think it's a little bit hard to tell if Ariel truly respects Prospero or if she just feels like she better kind of butter him up so that he makes sure to hold up his end of the bargain to let her free. So there's a little bit of wiggle room there in how you interpret her responses to Prospero. Is she truly respectful to him? Does she truly look up to him? Or is she just kind of play acting at that until she can gain her freedom? Many of you called it a love-hate relationship, which I think is a great way to characterize it. With Caliban, it's very clearly antagonistic, and several of you actually use that word too. But we might think about how the circumstances are different. When Prospero first lands on the island, and we get the story from Caliban, Miranda and Prospero didn't know anything about the island, and they come across Caliban, and Caliban helps them know how to eat on the island, kind of know where to find water. So he is really crucial to their survival in those early days, weeks, and months that they're there. And so there seems to be a little bit more of a friendly relationship at first. And then there's some sort of fuzzy details, again, because whose side of the story are we getting, where it seems like Caliban attempted to rape Miranda. And this sort of feeds into Prospero's enslavement of Caliban, and also why Prospero hates Caliban so much. Caliban seems to hate Prospero because of this enslavement, and also because he feels like Prospero has stolen the island from him. So I want us to be clear that Caliban is a figure that stands in for the problem of colonialism. And this is something that was beginning to happen in the 16th century, where England was exploring the world, and when English sailors and citizens would land on the shores of these new lands, they would tend to just take over. And whoever was there, the natives that were living there, were expected to take on English ways, language, manners, right? And so even though we might look on Prospero and Miranda teaching Caliban their language as sort of a generous act, it's actually quite complicated, because usually what the English wanted was for the native population to just forget their own culture, because they were seen as uncivilized and savage. And the English really thought that their culture was the best, and that they believed in the superiority of their own race, and that everyone around the world should be just like them. So, that's sort of what we see Prospero and Miranda doing, is trying to colonize Caliban and make him into an English citizen. And Caliban doesn't seem to really want to do that, and then isn't given any choice in the matter. So there's a lot of complexity happening there. But Shakespeare also doesn't make Caliban a particularly endearing figure. He does seem to have attacked Miranda, which sort of plays into that stereotype of the savage. And so I've always been a little disappointed that Shakespeare did that, because it makes it harder to really stand up for Caliban. But nonetheless, Shakespeare did create a very complicated figure, and he certainly doesn't make Prospero, completely blameless in that relationship between Caliban and Prospero. So that one's a little harder to figure out. So I just wanted to say a little bit about that and the historical background of colonialism.